Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan just walked out of the camera after I just set it up. And this is my third hot take. Bye, Joan. My third hot take on Santa Inc. Oh my God. Smash like and subscribe. Thanks for smash liking and subscribing. Book links are in the description if you'd like to support the channel. Also, if you'd like to get a Piney Power t-shirt, they are available just in time for Christmas. Now, Santa Inc. Well, here it is. Let's get a different picture up this time so I know what I'm doing. There's Santa, and there's the elf who wants his job, and there's an elf reporter. Let's just get Santa up here. As you can see by the dislike ratio, you can, by the way, get an install for Chrome so you can see the dislikes. As you can see, the dislikes are pretty bad. 2,800 upvotes to 98,000 downvotes. So out of 100,000 people, maybe 2% of them like this. Now, Seth Rogen has a theory, and his theory is Seth Rogen blames the abysmal audience reaction to Santa Inc. on white supremacy. Nah, I don't think that's the problem, Seth. I think the problem is this is a terrible TV show. And by the way, it is a TV show. I thought it was a movie. I could have sworn it said movie on the trailer, but I see a lot of these things, so maybe it just blurred together. Now, are there anti-Semites in the comment section? Well, I addressed that in my previous video, and the answer to that is yes. The question is how many? It's difficult to tell because there are people who are genuinely anti-Semites, and I've had them confront me on Gab, a handful of them, not a lot of them, and they're very easy to debunk. They're crazy, they're wrong, and if you can't debunk an anti-Semite, I'm not sure what's wrong with you. They're pretty stupid. They're pretty stupid, and they have dumb theories, and they're just easily disputed, and it all comes back to their wacky conspiracy theories. Now on YouTube, they're much more stringent about the comment section. So I've had a bunch of comments erased, some of which I caught, some of which I just ignored and let YouTube erase them because they were just too bizarre and weird, and I don't want to have to address them, quite frankly. And then a bunch that are talking in code where they substitute Jewish person for elf, or they take a Jewish trope and put the word elf in it and then repeat it. Now, some of that, I mean, obviously some of those people are just trying to emulate that to be funny and edgy, and I get that. I mean, I have friends who are, members of various groups, let's say, and they are members of that group, and they make those edgy jokes too sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. And because I know them, and I know they're not racist, that context, that gives me the context to know, oh, they're just kidding. It's just a joke. To total strangers on the internet, I don't know if you're kidding or not. You might be totally dead serious. Some of these people are. Not a lot of them, though. Seth seems to think that tens of thousands, it says tens of thousands of white supremacists with our new show, Santa Inc., they've been really pissed off. I don't even think there are tens of thousands of white supremacists in the United States unless you stretch the definition of white supremacist to include anybody who doesn't like you. In that case, sure. I mean, I think you might be able to make an argument that there are probably 20,000 in the entire United States of white supremacists, like actual super hardcore racist openly. But the show has scored poorly amongst audience so far. It premiered that day. On Rotten Tomatoes, the show has scored just 1% amongst audiences, though just 75 people voted so far. In the IMDb, the show scored just 1.1 out of 10 with 434 votes. Someone responded to Seth, have you considered the audience rating isn't based on white supremacy and that maybe it's actually just not that good? Another guy says, you took something that could have been great and made it god-awful. I hope you didn't write the jokes because I've seen I've seen women doing stand-up that made me laugh harder, and that's bad. That's a bit of a weird comment. Maybe it's just S. Why isn't that an option? Another person says, I love how all critics can just be shoved aside by calling people the bad guys from Germany. What a convenient shield for your creative decline. Oof. Oofa. The critical drinker says, Santa Inc. looks like the most painfully unfunny disaster since Ghostbusters 2016. Yeah, Critical Drinker does a good video on this. You should check it out. Another guy says that ratio in, I almost said Satanic Inc. Santa Inc. This is why YouTube are removing dislikes to protect big corporation and Hollywood celebrities. I think it's more about Biden, but possibly. And here it is disabling the likes. So yeah, this is a disaster, and I don't think Seth defending it like this. See, like, a better way to defend it would be to come out and say, hey, come on, guys, give the show a chance. You know, I'm really trying hard here. I didn't mean to offend anybody. Like, to be real humble about it. Like, hey, we're just trying to do something fun for Christmas, something a little different. I guess people don't understand. Like, that's the way to hit it, so you feel bad for criticizing it. But instead, he's like doubling down, saying, oh, I guess we pissed off a bunch of bigots. Ha ha ha. You know, the trailer is just, I mean, watch the trailer. Watch the trailer and judge for yourself. I encourage you to watch the trailer. Why not? Because I'm confident. I am confident you'll come away with it going, ugh. I mean, to go into the patriarchy, to be honest, I went into it totally with open eyes. I thought it was going to be, I did not see the patriarchy thing coming. I did not see it coming. I'm watching it going, okay, they're just being vulgar. I don't think that's particularly good. And then, boom, the patriarchy. And I'm like, what? That's bad. See, I contend that what makes it really bad is the wokeness. You know, the vulgar stuff, you can make a vulgar Santa. It's not a great choice in my view. I don't think Santa's meant to be vulgar. Like, if everybody around him was vulgar, sure. But as long as Santa's kind of pure, in fact, that would be a fun movie, right? You know, a fun movie where, like, Santa is this innocent guy, but the guys around him who run Santa Inc. are these ruthless guys who curse all the time and do everything they can to make Santa look good, even though they're a bunch of a-holes. Like, that would have been a hilarious movie, right? You'd see that. This is like, I don't want to see an elf take over for Santa's spot. Like, it begs the question, how did Santa get to that spot in the first place? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Do you even know the story of Santa? But yeah, there are some people in the comment section who are just, they've lost their damn minds. Look, you can't blame everything on some grand conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. This is the trend in Hollywood. It's just the trend. There was a trend in Hollywood. There's been a million trends in Hollywood before. There were trends where they only would do psychological thrillers, or they would only do X-Files stuff, and then they'd only do comic book stuff. I was in LA when they were like gobbling up comic books like there was no tomorrow, and I got meetings because of that. I went to the Los Angeles, I don't know what it was, one of the comic book shows, Wizard World maybe, and I sold a ton of books, and I was giving out comics to people who were like, oh, my producer boss asked me to pick up some comics. And I was just giving them out to some people just because, hey, maybe I'll get a movie deal. And I didn't. But that is neither here nor there. The point is, Rogan is trying a bad strategy to defend what a movie he probably didn't even write. At this point in his career, I don't think he's right. I don't think this is like one of his projects. It doesn't feel like one of his projects. Otherwise, like, Santa would be smoking a bong. I mean, that would have been, if this was about the son of Santa who had to take over for his dad and all he did is sit around all day and smoke pot, I would have been, yeah, Seth Rogen wrote that. That Santa is being, an enemy of because he's part of the patriarchy and a young purple elf is going to take his place. No, that doesn't sound like Seth Rogen at all. Maybe knew Seth Rogen, but I don't think he wrote it. I think he went, "Yeah, I'm against the patriarchy. What's my paycheck look like? How many zeros you putting on that?" It's just bad optics that you've got two stars, let's say, who, it's not their holiday. I'll say. It'd be different if they did a thing about Hanukkah. Nobody would say boo, because that's what it's about, right? If you're in the if you're in the ethnic group that you're making fun of, nobody cares. I can make fun of Italians all day long because I'm Italian. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, you're being racist against Italians." I'm not being racist about Italians. I'm doing stuff because I'm Italian and I know Italians. So that's part of the reason I think this comedy falls flat, is maybe Sarah and Seth don't know all the nitty gritty details that they would know if they maybe grew up with more Christmassy stuff, right? That's why probably a Hanukkah special would have sounded more genuine, because they would know all that. Probably. I don't know. I don't know their personal lives. Maybe they didn't celebrate Hanukkah. Maybe they were secular and Jewish, and maybe that wasn't. Maybe they celebrated Christmas every year. It doesn't come off in the trailer. But then again, I don't think either one of them wrote this, and I'm not defending them. I think they're both terrible in this, especially Sarah. Especially Sarah, whose stand-up comedy, I'll say again, was in the early days some of the most foul-mouthed things I ever heard come out of anybody. And that was her being outrageous, and man, she was outrageous. But this, it's not outrageous. It's not outrageous to cry about the patriarchy and what a victim you are. It's certainly not outrageous for Seth. What would have been edgy is something, for instance, what Futurama did, right? And the way Futurama handled it is they had the Christmas Santa, they were all robots. They had Santa robot, Hanukkah bot, and Kwanzaa bot, right? So you got the three major religions for the holiday, essentially. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Hindus or Buddhists celebrate anything close. So you've got the three major religions in the United States, and that's the audience. So whatever. So you had the Kwanzaa bot, and the joke was all he does is pass out books. What is Kwanzaa? Right? And now I'm sure that would offend some people that maybe celebrate Kwanzaa, let's say. But if you also make a joke about Hanukkah, I forget the Hanukkah joke, and you make jokes about Christmas, you're bulletproof, because you've made fun of the holidays in a broad sense. If they had done the same thing here, right? Maybe they throw in some jokes about Kwanzaa, maybe they throw in some jokes about Hanukkah, then it's like, well, we're not picking on anybody. The optics of this, it feels like you're picking on anybody. Now I didn't see the whole show. Maybe that's just in the trailer. Maybe they do spread it out. But you're not helping anything by this reaction. Like, if that was true, let's say you do make fun of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa too. You could say in your tweet, "Oh, we make fun of all the holidays. Stop being so bent out of shape." And then people would watch it and go, "Oh, well, they made fun of everybody, so that's cool." It's like what South Park does. They make fun of everybody. You know, it's even like The Nightmare Before Christmas. All the holidays are in on it, right? There's a scene where there's, I don't know, the holiday trees or whatever, and there's all different holidays, and some of the holidays get mentioned at points. It's not meant to be picking on one particular group of people. And I don't think they meant to be mean. Let's be honest. I think they meant to do something cool and edgy. It just causes, the optics are, it's just mean-spirited and terrible. And now they're stuck with it, and he's got to defend it. He's in it. And he's the most visible guy in it. Of course he's got to defend it. This is just a poor choice of defending it. What he wants to do is he wants to take the hit and say, "Oh, come on, guys. We really tried something cool and edgy here. Give it a chance." Then, like, if people still go after him, they look like the a-holes. Instead, Seth kind of looks like the a-hole. And he didn't help by his Twitter rants. The recent one about, "Oh, it's okay to be robbed, dude. I've been robbed 15 times. It's cool." Like, it feels out of touch and tone deaf. And thus, this. And now you're in essentially a negative viral video situation. You know, remember Marvel's Safe Space and Snowflake? You know, the superheroes, the new warriors. Marvel had the same problem. Like, it became almost a negative viral video where everybody loved to dump on the video and the stupid characters. Like, everybody had to get on it because it was just so stupid. I had to do a video. I think I did two. This is now 3 on this. So you're not doing yourself any favors. Like, you want to be more honest. If the creator of Snowflake and Safe Space had come out and said, well, you know, I was just trying to do something new and hip. I guess I didn't, you know, do very well, but I hope you'll give it a chance because the artwork's really nice. See, that's a way to try to, like, say, hey, guys, I'm just a normal guy. Please don't pick on me. Like, if Seth had done something like that, like, hey, you know, I was really trying to be funny. I hope I didn't really mean to offend people who celebrate Christmas. I'm just trying to make some jokes here. Like, you could get behind that message, right? You'd be like, all right, he's just being stupid. Maybe it's not so bad. But when you come out and say, oh, we're really pissed off the white supremacists, now you're calling everybody who criticized you a white supremacist, essentially. And this gets you more attention, but it also, I mean, it's basically negative attention. So now you're going to have people watching it just to spite you, and then reviewing it just to spite you. Don't ask me to review this, by the way. And calling it even more awful. Yeah, I don't want to see this. I'm not going to waste my time. It's going to be brutal. I don't like to see things when I know they're going to be bad. You know, somebody said in my trailer analysis of The Harder They Fall, oh, you're going to watch it because you're just obsessed with it. I didn't watch it. I don't care. It doesn't look good. Maybe it is good. I'm going by the trailer. The trailer is supposed to sell me on watching the damn movie. If you cut a bad trailer, whose fault is that? Is it my fault for not seeing the movie? No, it's your fault for cutting a bad trailer. This, I don't know if you could have cut a better trailer. I think you could have. I think if I had to cut the trailer, the first thing I would do is I would cut out any reference to patriarchy. Number one. And I would make the elf look sympathetic, and I would make Santa look like an a-hole, which they kind of did, but by putting in the patriarchy, you made it political. Like, I would have kept that totally out. At least then, you know, when it happened in the video, it would have been too late. They would have seen it. But at least they wouldn't trash the video. The moment you put that scene in with an angry elf sitting around with her girlfriends, pissed off that Santa runs everything and the old white men run Christmas, you were doomed. Because no one's down with that. Only people in Hollywood are down with that. And that's what this is really about. It's about out-of-touch Hollywood elites. And that could be anybody. Not just people of a certain religion or ethnic group or sexual orientation. That's anybody who's in the Hollywood system too long, who gets corrupted by money and fame. They lose touch. They're not with normal people. No way. I don't believe for a second anybody in Hollywood generally stays with normal people. They stay out in LA. It's a rich town. I mean, the gap between the rich and the poor gets wider every day in LA. Do you think someone like a big celebrity is seeing the people on the streets in the tents every day? Do you think they have to walk past them to go to a Walgreens? No. They are up in the hills, in their mansions. They have people, assistants, servants that go and do the shopping. Whenever they open the fridge, it's full of food and all their favorite beverages. They're millionaires. So when a millionaire tells you, why are you complaining? That's a problem. So this is all my opinion. But my opinion is this. Santa Inc., not good. Seth Rogen, poor choice to defend it. Sarah Silverman, haven't heard from her yet. I think she's smarter. I don't think she'll defend this at all. Unless she'll probably be pressured to make some sort of statement. I hope she does the right thing, and her right statement should be something like, well, we're just trying to do a comedy. Like, that's the best statement you could do at this point. Like, hey, we're just trying to do something edgy. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, but I thought it was good. Like that's someone who's confident that what they made was good, not someone who blames, you know, I mean, if you believe there are millions of white supremacists in the United States, I guess you might think that. But I think I think this is the audience, plus a handful of people who, quite frankly, have deplorable views. But I think a lot of people on the internet have deplorable views on a lot of different things. Anyhow, that's my video, such that it is. Hopefully YouTube won't flag it, and we'll see you in the next one. Check me out on Bitchute and Rumble if you want to hear the base takes.